Hey guys, I'm Dave from Mob Rules, and on this special Tabletop Plus, I'm going to show you how to take the Phobos Librarian from the Shadowspear box set to easy tabletop standard. So, let's get started on my workbench here. Right, so this sorry, I was just doing a little word search there. Let me clean this up. Sorry. Alright, so for this, we're going to be painting this Librarian. This is one of the new Shadowspear Librarians. It's a fairly simple paint. We're going to be following our basic guide that we do for everything. We will be painting Cantor Blue for the blue armor. Now, Librarians do not mimic the color of their chapter, except for occasionally on the knee pad, a chapter symbol, and sometimes the shoulder pad on the chapter side will be the chapter. So for this one, I'm actually going to be painting this as an Iron Hands Librarian to go with my Iron Hands army. So we will be using Cantor Blue for all of the armor panels, which is a very limited amount actually. You have this bit of the face here, the armor panel elbow here, and the legs, little bit of the backpack. Same thing for this side over here. For the arms, we're going to go with Gorthor Brown for the gloves, as well as the leather of the chest. I'm going to be using Rhinox hide for the pouches, as well as the strap. And I'm trying to decide whether what I want to do with the book. I'm not sure. I'll probably end up doing Rhinox hide for the book casing, and maybe Gorthor Brown for the strap. Obviously some sort of metal for all of the cool edging there. The parchment and all of the purity seal paper will be done in a very standard Yushibanti bone for me, and then red for purity seal. On this particular model, and I know it's difficult to see, but on the gloves are these little skulls, as well as this one right here on his chest for his necklace there. I will be hitting those with Screaming Skull. Then we'll be doing a wash later. The cape, which I will do in a different video actually, the cloak, because I want to do how to kind of do the digital camo. I'm going to try to recreate it. Will be a couple different colors. Not quite sure what I'm going to use yet. So for this, I'm just going to go through the basic motions of painting everything on this guy except for the cape. So let's get to this, and the sword. I'll do something special with the sword, but obviously metallic for the handle, and then I'm going to leave the blade black, and the filigree here will be gold, along with all of the edging around the outside. And yeah, some lead belcher will be used for metallic stuff, keys, the belt buckle, anything that, the handle of his pistol, anything that you think you might want to. I'm not quite sure about the hoses yet. I think I'm actually going to do a layer of flayed one flesh on the hoses, but I'm not sure. So I will get these base colors laid down and come back to you with the next step of this Shadowspear Librarian. Quick side note. So as I was looking at the Librarian, I couldn't tell exactly what they had decided to do to mark off these hoses on the front. So I did what anybody did, and I grabbed my phone, and I went to that, and I just did this. So I went and found the Librarian. Ugh, we'll just kill that. I went and found the Librarian model, and then I asked people about it, because honestly, I've seen it done many different ways on the Librarian, the way these little chest hoses here are. And general consensus was, at the end of it, was to do a Xandri dust layer, and then kind of do it a bright, brighten it up a little bit of yellow. So that's what we're going to do on this one. As you can see, I've done that here. So Xandri dust for the hoses, and since I had it out, and because Xandri dust is the base color that I use for the base for my models when I base them, I actually went ahead and did that as well. So get back to painting, and I'll come back to you with the next step after this. Baby shark, do 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 do, baby. All right, so our guy's had time to dry, and he's starting to look mighty fancy, like he could take on the foes of the Imperium in a matter of minutes. So the next step, of course, in the easy step process of painting this guy, is to give it a wash. So we're gonna take our friend Nuln Oil and do a liberal coat all over, making sure to get down into the joints of the armor and all over the backpack, the silver, everything you got. We're going to avoid the parchment paper and the book if we can, because I'd like to do that with Reikland Flesh Shade. So I'm going to do both of those things, and I will see you back here for step number 3. Alright, so wash has had a chance to dry, and if you look, he's starting to look good. You can stop here if you want. Going on is only an option as much as you want. Now on this model, I'm not going to finish the cloak because, well, I'm going to try to do something fancy on it. And I want to also do another video showing you how I do the power sword, or in this case, a force sword. So what we're going to just do is our next step, which is to revisit all of the colors that we used already, the blue, the browns, and we're just going to do what is considered a glaze, a thinned down version of the colors. We're just going to hit top areas and try to bring a little bit of color back that we darkened up. So I'm going to do that, and I will come back to you after this. All right. So our wash has dried all over Nuln Oil. You'll notice I haven't done anything with the cloak yet. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it. The GW scheme that they have has got us painting it with 3 different colors of gray, but if you look at the box art, the heavy metal artists have used at least 4 colors of gray. So, like I said, I'm not sure. I am painting this guy as an Iron Hands, so I'm not quite sure how I want him to look. So basically what we're going to do now is go back over the model using a very thinned down version of the original colors. In this case, I've already mixed some up here in my palette. Just get a little bit on the brush there, and we're just going to try to build up some color here on like the surface areas using the original Cantor. And you want to make sure that you go along and you're just kind of working it in a little bit. Hit the tops of the boots. You're just trying to build up a little bit more color again and not wash out your recesses. So on places like the knee pad, just go red over the top like that. Brings that blue back and creates an effect without having to go back and do all sorts of edge highlighting. So just kind of work it in. A little bit in there to pick that up. Be very careful around the face mask because it's very hard to, well, it's not hard to undo, but it's easier if you don't do too much on it. So just kind of go back and do that. Do that with all of the colors that you want to brighten back up. Some of the colors obviously you want to leave a little darker, like your silver. You know, the book, you definitely want to bring up the brown. Backpack, we want to hit definitely the tops of this. So you'll notice with it as thinned as it is, as you brush it back on, it'll leave behind pigment As you can see already, it's starting to come back to that blue from down below. Take 1 or 2 passes with it as it dries out and just kind of work a little bit more each time to the topper areas. And that doesn't mean that you can't go back and do an edge highlight if you want. I'm just not a fan of the way edge highlights look. They don't look natural to me, and I prefer my models to look more realistic. So this is a way to create shadows without doing a lot of extra steps. So just do that all the way through. Hit it on your browns and your blues for right now, and come back to me after you've done that. We'll talk about the next step. All right? All right, so here we go. This is after I have gone back over all of the original colors using just the original colors. Now you'll notice I haven't painted the sword blade other color other than black, because I'm going to, black is the base color I use when I'm doing my force weapons, and the cloak is not done. And as I said before, I was not sure how I was going to do the cloak. More the color choices rather than anything else. So at this point, this model is more than tabletop ready. I'm going to do one more thing, and that is to take my Cantor blue, which I have here already. I'm going to water it down just a little bit more. And I'm going to take a very small amount of Caldor Sky. Now, I said before that I don't really appreciate, I don't like line highlighting, and that's just not my style. But I'm going to mix it in to lighten this color up. Now, it's really thin, okay? But you should be able to notice that the color has changed somewhat. So, clean that off. And I am going to take this new lighter color, and I'm just going to run it across. That's a little too much on the brush there. So I'm just going to run it across like the top section. Spots that the light would hit that would give it just a little bit more reflectiveness. Around this part down here. Maybe like a stripe across there. Up here. I really like the effect that you get by just doing these small lines, just small build-ups to get to where you want to be. It looks more natural, in my opinion, than a stark contrast to edge highlight. So up here on the top. And the thing about thinning it down so much is if you accidentally put way too much on, you can go, whoops, take it back off with your finger. So just go along. Obviously you do the tops here because, well, that's where the light would be. And up here, just like this. Make sure you're being real careful. So you just want to be real careful as you're going around hitting all your high areas. Just a little bit here to not get anything on any of the other areas that you've already done. Now, I have gone back over with every single color that I was going to do, that I did the original, and that's how I've ended up here, with the exception of this. There's been no blending at all, except this. This tiny little bit to just brighten up the blues a little bit. You don't want to go too bright because you don't want to go ultramarine blue, unless your shoulder pad is, unless your chapter is ultramarines, in which case then only one part of it wants to be ultramarine blue. Other than that, bing bang boom, and we're looking pretty good. looking pretty good in my opinion. I'm very happy with this model. I love it, and painting it has actually been kind of fun. Normally I don't like models that I can't convert myself up just a little bit. You know, you just kind of go back over it a little bit here and there just to do just that little bit of build up. Carefully trying to make sure that you don't accidentally wipe out any of your hard work with your shading. And yeah, calling this guy done with the exception of the yellow hoses, so I just got to get those. Not quite sure how I'm going to do that yet. Probably just let's see, let's just try it. We'll try it really fast. Pick an empty spot. And I do want to mention, guys, that in the past I have been, I would say chastised, but I wasn't really chastised for it. For leaving my brush in there. This brush that I leave in here in the water, you want to make sure you don't do that. Your bristles get beat up. That brush is about 4 years old, and it exists literally to spoon large amounts of. It's a palette basically, or a scoop brush. That's about it. There is nothing that says that this marine has to end at this phase. You can take and mix in a bunch of different colors to create whatever you would like. You can go lighter on a whole slew of areas. You can do whatever you'd like there. But yeah, I'm going to just try to do a little bit of work, kind of a work on these hoses here just a tad bit to hopefully pick them up just a little bit, little strikes. Because I don't want them to be too bright, because that defeats the purpose of being psychic, scary ninja guys in Phobos armor. But just a little bit. The yellow I chose was Uriel yellow because it's just kind of a nice, interesting neutral layer to go over the top of the Xandri dust that we painted it, as I said I was going to. And I'm just doing little strokes here. I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up or not, but just basically building up color the same way I did using the base colors. So, and not wiping out anything else that I may or may not have done already. Alright. So, yeah. I'm happy with him for now. I'm going to take pictures for this phase, and if you're interested in finding out how I do the power sword, you'll see that in the next video, or when I figure out exactly what it is I'm going to be doing with the cloak, whether it's following the actual camo scheme, or I'm really torn because I want to do a video, or I want to do the cloak to be the same color to match up with my other army scheme. And I feel like since it's a nice digital cloak, that it would probably end up doing something crazy like matching the brown instead of going gray. So I'll have to figure it out. Once I do, though, I will paint the exact same pattern that they had used on the box art, or die trying, that is, because I don't actually know how to paint that, so it'll be interesting. We'll find out. Alright guys, well, if you like this video and you want to see more content, just go find it. It's there. If you want to support Mob Rules, the channel, me, John, Danny, you can. We've got a Patreon. I'll put a link down there below. And if you have any questions, by all means, just drop them in the comment box. I'll get back to them as fast as I can, and we will, hopefully I can answer any questions you may or may not have. Alright guys, I've been Dave from Mob Rules, and this has been painting the new Phobos Librarian. Sexy.